Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. club. It's lunchtime, Monday, on this beautiful autumn day. It's a cracker of a day, a bit of cloud in the sky, but that's okay. It's warm, there's a gentle breeze blowing across the water, and we've got the Narrabeen heading across to Manly. Let's go on a bit of a walk and talk, and I want to have a chat to you about a topic that I've got near and dear to my heart. Just the other day, on Thursday, the 25th of March, the New South Wales government honoured Greeks and Greece by lighting up the sails of the Opera House with the colours of the Greek flag. And just leading up to that event and that occasion, the government basically weren't going to comply by lighting up the Opera House, but with a bit of pressure and a bit of media coverage, they agreed to light up the Opera House to honour the Greeks of Sydney, of Australia, and the diaspora worldwide. And there were many people complaining. They were complaining when they heard that the Opera House was not going to get lit up. The number of posts that I saw on social media, the level of aggression and the vitriol was remarkable. So people, from what I can see and from what I can understand, had some very strong feelings about the Opera House being lit up for the 200th anniversary of Greek Independence Day. I came down here on Thursday and was amazed at how beautiful this wonderful monument was lit up with the colours of the Greek flag, and it had a modern twist to the flag, which, believe it or not, caused even more controversy because people got offended that it wasn't a true depiction of the Greek flag, but it was based on the logo for the 21 Independence Day celebrations that came out of Greece. And I asked myself, because I came down here that night and I was amazed. It was a beautiful night, but I was a little bit let down because of the lack of support, the lack of people who even bothered to get off their couch, leave the comfort of their home to come down here and witness a once in a lifetime event. The 200th anniversary of the beginning of Greek independence. But it didn't surprise me, because I've been to many events over the years and I always scratch my head and say, where are all the people? Where are all the people? And then I sat and thought, I said, geez, there were so many people who complained about the fact that the New South Wales government wasn't planning to light up the Opera House with the flag, with the colour of the flag, the colours of Greece. And once the decision was made to light it up, and the opportunity was to come down here in the thousands, I was not expecting really, but I was hoping that my expectations were wrong. I was expecting to come down here and see thousands of people gooing and ahhing and taking photos and really enjoying the moment and feeling as if I was part of a united Greek diaspora and united Greek element. But I came down here and there were just scatterings of people. There were scatterings of people over there at the Opera House. There were scatterings over here, and very, very few people compared to what it should have been like. If it was any other country, if it was Armenia, for example, that had their flag projected on the Opera House, I guarantee that there would have been thousands here. So just a moment of reflection, just talking about an observation, and once again, the vitriol, the amount of abuse that I saw on social media, where people were saying that the flag wasn't presented on the Opera House and it didn't have the cross and it didn't have this and it didn't have that. You know, everybody just looks for a bloody excuse to complain and whinge. And just the other night, I was at a function where there was a politician there, and I asked them, you know, from your perspective as a politician on the New South Wales government, how do you feel when you come down to an event to preside and to be a guest at an event? Because there were a couple of speeches. There were a couple of speeches down there, just where that ferry is. There were a couple of speeches there with some dignitaries talking about the Opera House and how it's being lit up. And I say, how do you feel when you look around and you hardly see enough people to justify the expense of lighting, because it costs money. You know, there's a projection team which sits on the other side, just over here, just right here. I came up here and I saw them. They were sitting there, so they've got their equipment and they project the image across the harbour onto the sails of the Opera House. And I just felt for the politicians, you know, because we'll whinge and we'll carry on, and yet we're not there. We're not there to, you know, to show up. It's just embarrassing, and I don't know what the answer is. I know that a lot of the Greek organisers must be really frustrated because they put in a massive effort, and yet the apathy of the Greek community is amazing. Because I go to many events and I see the same old faces at all the events. And I said to myself, I keep on saying to myself, what would happen if these people all of a sudden stopped coming to these events? You know, who would take their place? And it's a bit of a challenge that we face going into our future. Because we had an opportunity on Tuesday to be down here in our thousands, our tens of thousands, and bring the whole city to a halt, and to make world news, and to make the politicians sit up and pay attention and say that, wow, these Greeks are organised, these Greeks are passionate, these Greeks are committed, you know, in more than words, but in action. So, and one more thing. When I looked across from here, I was up here on Thursday and I looked across and I saw the colours of the Greek flag. I understand that it wasn't the Greek flag, but we're smart, we're intelligent beings. You know, scientifically, what happens is the brain is able to fill in the blanks, even though there's not a cross there, even though there's not nine stripes there. The brain can figure it out. You know, if you're Greek and Greek in your heart and Greek in your spirit, you don't get offended when you see people respecting your country by going out of their way to do something which they didn't really have to do. You know, this sense of entitlement that people have these days is wrong. You know, we need to respect the fact that people did what they did, but they did it out of love. They did it out of respect for the Greeks who have come to Australia, who have worked here, who have invested here, who have helped in the growth and development of this wonderful city, this wonderful country. But as we said, you know, how much more can they fight for our cause when the only fighting we do is amongst each other? There was a post that I saw on Facebook the other day where somebody was suggesting that the Skopjans were saying all these negative things about Greeks, about the Opera House and all of these other things. And I wrote a post in response saying, don't worry about the Skops. Don't worry about everybody else. Worry about the Greeks who attack each other on Facebook and social media and are rude to each other. You know, we're doing a good enough job to damage each other on a daily basis, let alone worry about other people trying to make our lives harder. We make our own lives hard by the way we behave, by the way we act, by the way we speak to each other. And if you just watch, if you're a member of some of these Greek groups, you'll see what I'm talking about. I was once the foundational poster on a group, and I've posted thousands of items when the group was about 1,000 strong, and now it's into the tens of thousands. I refuse to post there anymore because whenever I do a post, regardless of what it is, there's always going to be a group of smartasses who are going to politicise whatever is said and just create mayhem, which I've got to tell you gives me the shits and embarrasses me no end. So that's what we've got to contend with. So as I say to people, don't worry about other nationalities, because they're just sitting down, chomping on popcorn, just laughing at our disunity and our challenges that we create for ourselves. Anyway, I thought I'd get it off my chest. Sorry for this post, which is not as empowering or as positive as what I'd normally like to be. But sometimes we need to call things out and call a spade, and to understand that we're all here as guests, as contributors, but we also need to support each other, support the causes, support whatever is happening, because as we said before, if we're not supporting it, then others are going to see the disunity, the apathy, the lack of interest, and they're not going to support us either. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay reasonable, stay relevant, and most importantly, let's unite wherever possible, support the Greek cause, and rather than complain, rather than put in our 2 bobs worth to make people feel bad or to find fault in everything that's done, let's just try and contribute. You know, if you want to be a good conversationalist, then when you join a post that somebody else has put up, rather than be negative, why don't you try and complement and supplement what is being said? Because nobody's interested in your negative view. Nobody's interested in you ripping in to other people and being rude. It's important to understand that. Anyway, let's finish off and we'll talk later. Bye for now from Jim's 5am Club. Yasas.